everybody. Welcome to the first official episode, right, of Nothing But the Game. Presented to you, presented to you by myself, CJ, and Evan. We felt like it was time for a change, and this is the change that we made. So, yeah, welcome. First official episode.
It's super exciting, and I feel like the name fits us quite well. As you all have who already been listening, probably know that nothing but the facts over here.
Nothing but the facts, and nothing but the very informative opinions, we'll say.
Yes. I sorry, I had a little Pink Floyd going on in my head. Nothing. some comfortably numb, so I got just kind of carried away there.
Layout was pretty good too, Tim. I'm liking it a lot. So
thanks. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I worked diligently on it, trying to spoof it up a little bit. Make us look pretty presentable.
Right.
So, yeah. So crazy week. So free agency hasn't even started yet. Crazy week in the NFL already. I figured we jump right into it. Let's break down this Denver acquiring Russell Wilson trade from Seattle. Initial thought on it was, I think Denver gave up way too much.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like
they're it's almost like they're kind of viewing themselves as the LA for this year, almost, or the next 2 years, really.
Yeah,
they're just gunning for it.
I just can't see what leg up they think it's going to give them in the jam-packed AFC West. I really can't. It's easy, he'll have the targets, he's got the run game, they have. Well, when we did our teams right now rankings type thing, we kind of hit the nail on the head with this. Like, Denver has everything but the quarterback, and we knew that Seattle was absolutely going to hit, or was hitting, rebuild mode. They just clicked the eject button, man, and they were just like,
yeah,
we're starting over.
They just took that warm, comfortable rebuild blanket and wrapped it all around them.
Yeah,
they're fully ready to just. Man, and knowing what you are, though, they have to know where you are, and they identified it. And the talent that they do have there is more long term with the wide receivers and some of the things that they have going on. But I think they got amazing steal. So
you think Denver got?
I think no. I think Seattle got the deal. Embracing the rebuild and just the amount of picks that they're able to snag for this in next year's setup.
In 2 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're set up with some great draft classes as well, and I see what Denver was going for, because they have they still have that rookie running back that has that minimal contract for the next 2 years set up. They have amazing talent on Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamlin, Cortland Sutton, Patrick, drawing a blank on his name.
Tim Patrick.
All those, Tim Patrick, yeah. All of them, their fantasy stock, whatever stock, just went through the roof. But I think that they just identified what they have. They know, hey, we've got this beautiful window. They're just going for it.
And Von Miller's talking about going back to Denver, so that'd be a...
Yeah.
Look at that. He goes to the Rams, gets traded to the Rams, for some picks, wins the Super Bowl, and then comes right back to Denver with picks. So,
man.
I know.
He may just have this whole thing strategized perfectly. Just collect rings. Man. He's a smart guy, so he may have this whole map chest out.
Yeah, I truly think that Seattle won in this trade. So I'm going to. Not only so, I'm thinking about it in terms of. So one, they get Drew Lock. Now you guys both know that I'm this big Drew Lock fan. All right, the kid he's never had a full season, right? So I don't think Seattle drafts quarterback this year, obviously, with these firsts, but they got 2 firsts out of it, so they have next year's, right? So, and then next year's the hot QB class. Drew Lock's gonna get a full season under his belt because you're assuming he goes in here as the starting quarterback. I know they have Geno there, but I feel like no, you don't think so?
No, I mean they do. He's going to go in there. Geno's nothing. That's what I was saying. Like
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to go in there. My biggest thing for you there is he going to survive with that O line that they have? Like he needs time. He's a little frantic in that pocket to me, and I don't know. It'll be interesting. Let's just say that.
I think the most interesting piece out of it all, call me Noah Fant. Like I feel like that is the most interesting piece in the entire trade. I really do.
They haven't had like a legit threat at tight end, in a while. Like I've always had, Big Montana and a few guys that could do some things, but this is their best threat that they've had in a long time.
I'm trying like off the top of my head here. I'm trying to think of the most threat-worthy tight end that Seattle's had. I mean, all I can think of is like Greg Olsen a few years ago. Wasn't he there? Or Jimmy Graham? Didn't they have a Jimmy Graham for a minute?
They've kind of had the retreads.
Right. Like,
so,
I mean, they're the young kid that they had, and they always used him, but like he never broke out. Young kid, Jacob Hollister. He's very completely he's underutilized in any system that he's in. I think he's just one of those kids that's he's just a true football player. You know what I mean? Like he gives 110%, and I don't think he has shined enough to be given a number 1 spot. Maybe he can't do certain things, but like I don't know. They haven't really had a tight end, and so like it's interesting. It's just interesting that Russell Wilson goes as they finally get a threat at tight end. So I don't know. That was the big news yesterday. It was the trade itself included 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and Shelby Harris, and in return Russell Wilson and a 4th-round pick. Now, like, not to turn this into a joke, but how do you guys think that trade talk really goes down? Like, do you think it's like all right, we're gonna give you Russell, and in return we want 2 firsts, 2 seconds, this guy, and then Denver's just like, and a 4th, throw a 4th in there, right? Like it's such a
that whole thing is like, hey guys, so I feel like we got to ask for more. We really need to, because we can't just accept their first offer.
I mean,
it's like, yeah. I mean, and who knows, man? Watch out what that 4th could be. What year is that one too? Is that?
It's like a car dealership. Like, okay, we'll give you XM radio for a year, right?
That is a great comparison. That is. Oh my gosh.
Like, yeah, I so another trade. So, just why we're talking, like, so another thing that came out of this was Bobby Wagner was also released yesterday. So I don't know about you guys. I know we have our top free agents kind of, sitting over here. These are the guys that we're going to discuss later in the show. But like Bobby Wagner obviously becomes a top tier free agent, right? I know he's old.
Yeah.
He's been in the league since 2000. So he's been in the league for 10 seasons. He's 32. He's practically led the league in tackles every single year.
He's that like potential linchpin piece that a championship team is going to look for. So you're going to see a lot of that. Hey, he's just going to hunt for where he wants to go.
Yeah,
which is great for him. I think they did a service to him by doing that, because they know where they are and they know where he is in his career. Now he has a chance to just go find his destination.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, CJ. Sorry.
I was gonna say his best season was last year too, which was crazy. He had 93 solo tackles, which he had 170 total, but that was his best year out of Seattle.
Yeah, I know. I played against them in in our dynasty football league. CJ's we play with defensive players as well.
Like
and,
50.
Yeah, and our defensive players got what it was like 2 points per tackle, right? It was something absurd, right? Like
was for Walls. It was crazy.
In the one game, he had like 20 solo tackles himself and scored over 50 fantasy points. So,
Are you the commish of that league, CJ? Because you're like, none of these guys know defensive players like me. I'm going to rule.
I am the.
Oh, you are.
I am the commissioner of the league, and yeah, let's just say the league was like, dude, WTF? Like, this is ridiculous, right? Every week. So, no, I think you brought up a really good point, though. It's a service to him, like, and then just to put you guys on the spot, right? Because this is what we do. We can prepare for the show as much as possible, but I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Where does he end up? Just a hunch. Think of championship caliber teams.
Man, oh, you look like you're about to say something, man.
No.
Go for it.
Go to Dallas.
I was about to say that. I figure those two Cowboy fans, though, might be a little biased. I was about to say, man, come on into Dallas. We'd be happy to, very happy to welcome in the experience and the tenacity.
Well, listen, you guys
get that going with Micah Parsons.
Vander Esch is out the door. Vander Esch is out the door. You guys are knocking on the door.
He just freed up like $22 million in cap space.
Yeah, JJ loves throwing dollars out there, so I'm not. It'd be familiar territory, sort of. He's still in the NFC. And
Dallas wouldn't have to draft a linebacker in the first round. Again.
Yeah, they don't need to do that.
No. I like that. Actually. I just can't see that man in silver and blue. I don't know. The blue's kind of similar to Seattle's, so.
Yeah, just a little dulled down silver. Nothing wrong with it.
So then
we got that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we got that. I don't know if I know our whole schedule here, and I'm probably taking us off, but like impact with like trades and everything, with the whole Carson Wentz thing going down today. We're talking about who won and who didn't.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing what y'all think on that one.
Go
ahead, CJ. I'll let you take it.
Personally, I'm gonna go with the Colts because you still have Tyler Heineke.
Heineke.
Much rather have him starting. Carson Wentz is so injury prone, and I just think that there was better options out there, and the Colts definitely won this trade. So
yeah, and the amount of now it makes them, I believe, the highest cap space in the league with this.
Yes.
So now they can just, they offloaded all of that money, and with Redskins assuming the entire contract, and it's not like it's a crazy, anymore. The big moves on quarterback side are pretty much solidified, but there's still potential out there. You never know what they could have plans, trade wise or whatnot. But I think, yeah, I agree with you. They definitely made the best long-term and short-term decision.
The only thing is, though, the Colts I think is including the season coming up, they'll have 6 different starting QBs since Andrew Luck, and that's crazy. So,
and that was going to be my point. This kind of goes back to the whole ranking thing that we did a couple weeks ago, where there's this window of success in your team, and the Colts are teetering on that. You know what I mean? They're almost on the outside looking in at this point. And letting Wentz go. So to me, what this says is that they're definitely going to get a free agent quarterback right now. They're not drafting, and they're going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of these teams that's, following the suit of the LA Rams as this like let's go all in type team.
So
I don't think there's a Matthew Stafford level though. I mean, there isn't a Matthew Stafford level on the free agency market. I mean,
I was going to say, who do you think they go for? Is it Jimmy G?
I was about to say, I think Jimmy G is probably the thing that they're going to be going for. They're trying to find something that is consistent or moderately consistent, and something that they can focus on their run game with. Jonathan Taylor's just insane, and have the wide receivers around you and focus on the defense. I don't know what their whole game plan is.
Are we banking on the idea that Jimmy G essentially went to a Super Bowl, so that makes him a Super Bowl caliber quarterback? Like,
oh no,
But if
I don't think he's the future for any team.
I mean, so one thing that still
the
raises
setup the same though as the Niners. The Colts have kind of like the same setup. Just hand the ball off to your RB. So
yeah,
instead of a committee, you just have one legit back.
But they don't have a Debo Samuel caliber player. I mean, they could probably draft one because it seems like there's a bunch of them coming out this year.
Well, they can go get Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
And he isn't Debo Samuel, but Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be an elite wide receiver.
Oh,
he's
I don't question whatsoever.
But he's just not that Debo type.
Right.
But
yeah.
I'm just throwing this out there. You guys can either catch it, take it in, or just be like, Fitz, you're crazy.
Or pull a Chase Claypool and just bobble it and then drop it.
Shoot. He went there. All right. I don't even know. So this is why I feel like I'm raising the question here. Did Vegas re-sign Carr yet?
Ooh. I don't think
so. The wrong guy on that bad boy.
Like, is he a free agent? He's not a free agent.
I don't think he's not a free agent.
But they have all this draft capital, but their team is already there. Like, their team is so close. I mean, minus your loss to Jacksonville, you're in the playoffs there. You have the most second talented running back in the game. You have an outstanding offensive line. You do have weapons on the outside. You probably have the ability to draft another another receiver opposite of Pittman. Like,
I would trade for Carr.
Bundle it all up and ship it to Vegas, dude. Go get Derek Carr. Like, I know that's, but like I can't think.
He's a free agent next year.
Right. So like then they're only eating 1 year of his contract, right? So, I mean, yeah, part of me kind of thinks like this is just a step forward into a bigger move for the Colts. So, you heard it here first. I think the game.
I definitely think there's a trade involved. I don't think you unleash that with all that with cap space, with just
and there's just a big question mark surrounding the entire free agent or like quarterback market right now. Like there's not a quarterback, and you don't waste what you have right now with a rookie quarterback. You don't. So that's my thought process behind that. But I don't know. I think it's worthy. I really do. But since we're talking about free agency, let's kind of you guys want to kind of segue into our top free agents here.
Heck yeah, let's do this. I'll jump in there.
Go for it, man.
Go right off the bat.
Go for it.
All right, so starting off my free agents that are still available, I had to make some edits here. I was looking forward to seeing if Mike Gesicki would be making some moves around, but Miami rained on that parade here. So I'm going to start off with the ever exciting and always controversial Jameis Winston. He
I
is
love it.
he's and to preface my opinion of him, I personally in a NFL that's packed with wonderful talent, he would not be a starting quarterback. I think in the NFL where we see the quarterbacks kind of um you know you have your a clear dividing line once you get to a certain point. He's on that other side where it's hey, we can make do. There's a lot of teams that are like, hey, we can make do. I think with him, with the team that he's on right now, the Saints, the situation they're in with the salary cap, it puts an interesting place as to where he could go. There's plenty of spots that are out there. You've got the former location, Tampa Bay, with the retirement of Tom Brady. The only thing there is the cap space. You don't know what's going to be happening there. You would stick it within the same division. You could look at the Panthers. Are they really married to Darnold? Um, I think it's one of those what do you have here or what do you have there type situations if you are choosing between the two. So as unexciting as it is, and if they're able to work on a cap spot for him, I think he is going to stay in New Orleans. That might be his best situation too, just because if they can get Michael Thomas back, obviously don't even want to touch any of the Kamara stuff. Don't know how that's going to work out, but he has the ability and the knowledge to work there, and I have plenty of family in that New Orleans area. And after he went down and seeing that like nice, beautiful peak that he had, and then being relegated to the Mormon Missile and the Ian Book, and I don't even know, can't remember the other guy that was out there. Um, they're almost like clamoring for Winston. Like it's like this. Oh, do you remember when we had Winston? It was this amazing, glorious moment where we were kind of, yeah, what we should have been. Um, I think he'll do well there, and that's where he's going to end up sticking out. But I don't see it being anything that Saints are in a massive hole in a whole lot of different areas. So that's not beautiful. That's my rant there. I think he'll service well wherever he goes. Isn't the franchise location. I don't think he's going to be finding a huge at 28. I don't think he's finding a huge contract year, but maybe another proving year. Maybe somebody will give him a 1-2 year chance. There you go. What's y'all's thoughts?
I mean,
Go ahead.
no, I'm not gonna disagree with you. I mean, I think New Orleans is his best bet, like simply because I think New Orleans is about to totally,
They're an uh-oh, like we said.
they're absolutely in a Sean Payton's gone. Sean Payton left. Michael, big question marks around Kamara, like you said. Like Taysom Hill is obviously not the answer there, and he did shine at moments there. And then I also think he totally reverted back to the typical. I think he had moments where he reverted back to the typical Jameis Winston that we know and love.
And to add on what I was saying there, like I feel like there is a kind of there's multiple viewpoints with him and got to separate it out. My viewpoint is that as an NFL team, I don't think he's the winning quarterback. You're not going anywhere crazy with him. On the other side, I am heavily fantasy dynasty football focused. He is a great, awesome option to just have a plug and play. Like if you're looking for a streaming guy, depending on where he goes, it is going to be amazing because it's Jameis Winston. He could throw 5 touchdowns, three interceptions, and you're solid.
And you're still looking at like 20 points, which is like
yeah.
the number.
It's great.
It is.
That's where I think we get a lot of skewed viewpoints where it's this. They look at stats and it looks awesome, and people look at the interceptions. But if you're just looking at gameplay, and if y'all follow us on Twitter, I'm watching the film on anything that I'm putting out there. If you're just looking at gameplay, you're just left with, okay, you know what? We could do something with that. but nothing really exciting.
I'll put out one little thing though. He really hasn't had a true number one receiver here in New Orleans. So
No, you're right there. Yeah.
If they go in the draft and let's say they take receiver and they stick with him, I mean maybe he can produce or he will produce, but in fantasy wise. But maybe he can somehow get this team back to winning. So I think he just needs some help. But
but New Orleans isn't that team. Could be interesting if maybe that the aforementioned Tampa comes ringing in, offers him like a vet minimum, and they can afford it with the weapons that they do have there. Even with other guys going, Evans and Godwin, that's better than what Michael Thomas and
Raekwon Smith,
David Bell from Purdue. Maybe, I don't know. I'd take him above anybody else they have. Yeah. All right.
Traquan Smith's an interesting wide receiver.
He is. Mm-hmm.
He's Sorry, I was just getting our show out there, social media wise. There, sorry guys.
You chimed in perfectly with Traquan there, but I'll go ahead and throw it over to you, Fitz, for keep this new free agent train rolling.
Yeah, so I'm sticking to identity here. So I'm gonna start with J.C. Jackson, and this is simply a money move and an identity move. J.C. Jackson is going to Miami, hands down. Right? That's where he's going. He's familiarity in the AFC East. They have tons of cap space. They have a solid defense with Xavier Howard getting, Xavier Howard's there. He's going to play opposite of him. They have a defense that they want to maintain as Mike McDaniel and this offense tries to figure it all out. J.C. Jackson to Miami. It's happening. It's going to be a big contract too, because he's working on. He's coming off his rookie deal, and if I'm not mistaken, he was undrafted as well.
So where does Byron Jones? Does he? So is he still in Miami?
Yeah, he's like the top contract they have, I believe.
Yeah,
he's the most expensive. Yeah, between Byron Jones and Xavier Howard,
you can never
you're looking at 15% of their salary cap.
Okay.
But they have the money to play around with it.
The move.
I mean, why not have all three guys there and just?
No, you guys totally trumped me on this whole Byron Jones thing. I don't know what I was thinking there. Holy cannoli.
You're going for like
you already good?
The greatest secondary we could have seen in a very long time.
Yeah. Oh my God. I feel you. Good job, guys. You know what? That's credit to you guys for doing your homework there. Probably more than I did mine. And
I'll probably be tossing up a soft lob ball for you here in a little bit. So
man, I'm trying to.
You want me to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. You do yours. I'm gonna find some. I'm gonna figure this out. Hold on. I'm gonna fire back.
All right.
I'm sorry. Go for it.
Yeah, I am. Hold on.
I'm listening.
I'm gonna move it up. Be looking in the camera. All right, so I have Allen Robinson, who's had not so good QBs throughout his career. With Jacksonville, he had Blake Bortles, Chad Henne. He still produced, though. He went to his Pro Bowl in his second season with Blake Bortles. He caught 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns. Eventually turning into that number one receiver. Well, he signs with Chicago. He has Mitchell Trubisky, Chase Daniel, Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, Justin Fields. The order just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Potential spots I think he can go to is Miami with that cap space. Um, now you with the Colts, they have a lot of cap space too. You know pair them up with Michael Pittman, and also in Philly, I think Philly could use another receiver. But the one team I think that he goes to or has a good chance for him to go to is New England. I could see Bill Belichick, actually getting that new true number one receiver again, and him and Mac Jones, and he comes in with that veteran experience, and it signed like to a 3 to 4 year deal, somewhere around 50, to 60 million, and he's there in New England for the next 4 years. So,
And that
you guys
would
take
be, I think, with the New England, just the fit, he is that type of player. He goes in there. You want to get Mac Jones somebody that he can. I mean, you have your tight end set up. I think that's going to be more solidified with a full year under Belichick and getting. They're almost set up because both those guys can be injury prone between Henry and Smith, and but you're almost always set. You've got one of those top number one tight ends playing at the same time. Man, if you could throw him out there with Allen, that'd be outstanding. I'm not versed enough on their cap space to speak on anything there, um, but that'd be freaking awesome for him.
Yeah.
I think the most fun location that you had mentioned would be Indianapolis, depending on what they do post this trade. Um, just because that Pittman
So
and Allen Robinson combo would be so awesome.
I think the Allen Robinson to New England actually makes the most sense. Absolutely. Jacoby Myers, and then N'Keal Harry is their other receiver. N'Keal Harry, former first-round pick from them out of Arizona State, or Arizona. He was out of Arizona, I believe. He hasn't panned out at all. They need a number one. That, like, in kind of to complement what you said there, Evan, and then you have solid athletic tight ends and Smith and Henry. I think that makes a ton of sense, honestly. Can I have my rebuttal? And
Go for it.
I feel like such
Rebuttals are limited to 30 seconds, though. So.
Oh, Indianapolis. J.C. Jackson, Indianapolis. Across from Xavier Rhodes, they have now tons of cap space, big contract for him, and this kind of justifies and solidifies this whole point that we were trying to make earlier in the show that they are trying to make a big move now.
And solidifying that defense, making it and focusing on that running game, which they have locked down. That I could absolutely see that happening.
And if they do the J.C. Jackson thing, then Jimmy Garoppolo does make the most sense because that's a San Francisco move. That's a typical San Francisco thing right there, where the year that they went to the year that they went to the Super Bowl against Kansas City. Really great defense, solid run game. That is copycat league. That is your absolute best option right there. J.C. Jackson to Indianapolis. Thank you for my rebuttal.
And within your 30 seconds allotted, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, so it's over to me here. Man, I'm just gonna go ahead and go down my list instead here. So I hate touching on Miami too much, but I'm picking a guy that I think is going to head over to Miami. I got Chase Edmonds from Arizona. Now, Arizona ideally is going to hold on to one of these two guys that they have, either Edmonds, Connor. If personally, they should hold on to Edmonds. Just gameplay. Connor was great in that end zone range. He created a wonderful dynamic for that line and for how that whole offense ran. But Miami massively needs a running back. Myles Gaskin is not a number one. He's an awesome option to have. But Chase Edmonds is a guy that would fit amazingly multiple ways for Miami, creating a dynamic with Tua to where he can actually have a dump off, a secure dump off for his short range passes, where they can actually kind of lean on a little bit of what Chase Edmonds can do, and in regards to opening up the field, I think it'll be a massively important move. That's their number one thing that they need to address is running back. That is if Arizona doesn't hold on, because Arizona would be wise too with Kyler and him. With Kyler, him, and Rondell Moore, you could throw those guys out there. If they could all be the same number, you wouldn't know the difference. Those guys are quick, twitch, speed guys. Obviously, arm difference would be, but just with the ball in their hands, they're so similar. That could be such a fun offense to watch. But I think money-wise for Chase Edmonds, he's possibly better off in Miami and could make a bigger splash.
Yeah, so I'm just going to tally right on to the end of that there. Not only that, but it fits the Mike McDaniel mantra and the offense that they were running in San Francisco. We've been talking a lot about San Francisco tonight, guys.
And Miami.
And
just
Miami.
Coast to
coast. One of the biggest thing I think Miami ever did was when they traded Kenyon Drake. I thought Kenyon Drake was going to be an all-star in that offense. I really did. I am a Myles Gaskin believer, simply because he's on my Dynasty football roster, and I don't have that many valuable backs. No, I love it, honestly. Now you get two extremely athletic running backs with quick speed, breakaway speed, agile. It really opens up a door for that offense and takes a lot of pressure, like you said, off of Tua. And he's got these dump outs now, and these guys that can get outside real fast. Like, I really like Chase Edmonds to Miami. As a Bills fan, I don't necessarily like it, but yeah.
I just kept imagining, like, if you had Tua back there with Chase Edmonds and then Waddle just running like a jet sweep or just going across, like,
oh my God,
that whole thing would be outstanding to watch. Now,
also,
they still need to address, I think, wide receiver hardcore outside of Waddle, but this is a draft where they could do so.
Oh, no doubt. Braylon Burks.
And with that, I send it back your way, Fitz, for your next free agent follow.
Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones, 32 years old. He's gonna get a contract that's like, 2 years, $30 million, right? So he's averaging about $16.5 million right now in his current contract. It's gonna be something along the lines of like 2 years, $30 million, 15 of it guaranteed. So like 1 year guaranteed money. It'll probably be written in a way that somebody could drop him the following year type thing. Coming off 10.5 sack season. Not to sound like a homer here, but I absolutely believe that he is coming to Buffalo, or that he's going to Buffalo. Like, Buffalo has a young defensive front. They've addressed it the last couple of years to the draft. AJ Epinesa, Ed Oliver, Greg Rousseau, Carlos Basham, Boogie Basham. And they're going to need, with Jerry Hughes probably out the door this free agency, they're going to need a solid, and Mario Addison out the door, they're going to need a solid edge rusher. Chandler Jones, not only that, he's from Rochester area, the Western New York area. So, it's kind of coming home, as we call it in the military, your Twilight Tour. I feel like that's exactly the kind of move that Buffalo needs to make. They need some sort of presence on the edge in order to, run away with games. Like, offensively, they could run away with games, but I think defensively they were missing on a pass rush that helped them pull away indefinitely. You know what I mean? So, Chandler Jones, like I said, two year, probably $30 million. Market value is roughly that too. So, yeah, I would imagine half of it guaranteed. So, what are you guys' thoughts?
I can't go against it by any means, just to be contrarian, just for the heck of it. I know we mentioned him earlier in the trade talk with the whole Russell Wilson going out, but I was kind of thinking Seattle would be an outstanding fit. You're not completely giving up on a season. You still have to compete. You still have to put the best team out there, and they were, from what I remember, pretty stinking awful pass rush. Like they were not really that wonderful. Um, I think as Chandler Jones going out probably and selecting a place, Buffalo is a more outstanding location because you have the Super Bowl possibility, and so that's to
Right,
me a lock there.
and that's ultimately in this whole entire. I mean, that's it too. Chandler Jones has got 10 years in the league. You know what I mean? He wants to go win a championship.
Yeah,
And you're gonna go somewhere that you have that. That's where I would kind of, I would cross out that idea of Seattle. Um,
So, like you say, he's near Rochester. Well, Buffalo's near Rochester, so
yeah, well, so I don't know. CJ, it's on to you. I think you're on.
all right. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna should I switch it up? No, I'm gonna go with Cordell Patterson. Uh, so he's played with Minnesota, Oakland, New England, Chicago, and recently with Atlanta, where he come off one of his best seasons of his career, where he was a running back, receiver, Mr. Do It All. He started 13 of the 16 games. He rushed for 548 yards, and I think it was like 5 touchdowns. Called for 618 and 6 touchdowns. So, I mean, if you need a reliable running back slash receiver, I believe. And here we talk about Chase Evans, but also in Miami, he could go to Miami and fill that running back role and receiver role that they're going to need too. So also Jacksonville was another spot that I could see he could go and just with his veteran experience and help out. But I would, as you say, not to be a homer, but I love to see him to go to Buffalo, where he could come in and help out Devin Singletary. He's another weapon for Josh Allen. It makes a lot of sense where he goes there and it helps out that offense even more, especially in that running game. So, what's your take on that? Fitz.
I'm looking at Evan. Evan? What are you giggling about over there, dude?
I just I was just envisioning him going over to Buffalo, and it would be outstanding, like a whole lot of fun. If you put Josh Allen with any of these either experienced or just dynamic players, he's going to bring the best out of any of them because there's no limits to where he can go on the field, and so it would be a ton of fun. I was checking out. I was kind of giggling before because I was looking at Buffalo. To me, needs a little bit of a running back, but at the same time, I hate running on how a player played at the end of the year, and Singletary was playing outstanding, and their whole rush was going outstanding. But I know in multiple aspects, either fantasy or just like hindsight wise, we fall victim to a lot of the postseason / end of season production
Mm-hmm.
and ignore heading up the rest of the season. And I do think that they need to address the running back. That would be. I just hadn't really even thought about Patterson. Maybe it's just he's still locked in my brain as a wide receiver. Like I just hadn't connected that, and I was just kind of laughing at the fact that man, that could be one. We're kind of doing this whole free agents that are at their the end of their career, near the end of the career, picking where they want to go. That's another one that would just be outstanding to watch, and it could be a lot of fun.
There is the familiarity with him and Stephon Diggs. They were on Minnesota together back in. I mean, yeah, that is something. I don't know, the Bills seem to draft and develop, though. You know, they got a really deep wide receiver group. They're not deep at running back, though. I mean, they have Devin Singletary and Zach Moss right now. Zach Moss is, coming out of was it Utah State, I think? Like, or is it Utah State or is it Oklahoma State? You guys are the college football gurus.
Yeah, on Zach Moss, I'm gonna leave you stranded there.
Yeah, Utah, right?
Yeah.
All right. But, I mean, yeah, I think it would be good. But I really like the Miami pick the most, simply because I think you could probably get him on a cheaper deal than you're probably going to get Chase Edmonds for. And
oh, yeah.
And as much as, like, you got to think, too, like, Miami has all this cap. But they also want to have, like, I don't want to say they're hitting the reset button, because they're not. They have tons of, assets on that team. But you got this new coach there, and, like, they're going to want to draft guys, and they're going to want to kind of remold themselves. And, like, if you have an opportunity to take Patterson over Edmonds and just put him in there as a filler in the meantime, like, I don't know. I think the idea of Patterson to Miami actually is pretty legit.
As a filler and working with that system,
yeah,
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good spot. I mean, I would love him in Buffalo. Like, he's also a kick returner too, man. He's got kick return potential as well.
Yeah, he could still probably perform as a backup punt returner, kick returner.
Yeah.
It depends on where he goes, Well, that comes on to me here for my final free agent selection. I decided to go with, and I want to give my props over to you, Fitz, for being the one to take on all of these non-offensive, sexy picks. We're over here picking all the fantasy guys, or like, where are they going to go? And you're doing like the meat and bones. So I appreciate
that. No problem.
And with that saying, I will leave you with your meat and bones, and I'm going to take the fun, interesting selections with Juju Smith-Schuster, the big name 2-3 years ago. He had a whole lot coming out, and he has tons of talent, and just kind of, I think, is due to location, due to where he was. And that wide receiving core also, it was pretty good, but you're not seeing anybody step out and grab the bull by the horns. Maybe that's Big Ben, fading into the to his end there. I really don't know, because they do have tons of talent over there, but he was courted by another quarterback last year. I think he may have the ability to join them this year, and it would be an outstanding ad for them with the Kansas City Chiefs. Jumping over to old KC, at maybe relieving some of the load off of an aging Kelsey. Not saying it's not going to be a productive year, just saying he's aging. And Tyreek Hill, you have a whole bunch of, they've been surviving off of a bunch of really good role players, but nothing, Byron Pringle. Why am I drawing a blank on the other speedster that they got over there? But a bunch of guys that can do the job, but not. Yeah, I know it's hard. Oh
yes,
my gosh,
McLaurin.
Yes. So, and nothing wrong with those guys, but what Juju would present to that team is a much different target for, almost kind of like a Sammy Watkins-ish that they had,
Oh yeah.
But it's just something different. Instead of just addressing the pure speed of everything, they'll have this bigger body ability to run really, honestly, really good routes when he's engaged. So I think Kansas City would be super fun to watch, and a very probable location. Now bat it back at me. That was the one I was thinking I could lob up to you guys for you to say no to.
I mean,
the rich gets richer, right?
Yeah.
really? I mean, you guys, you're gonna put that like the rich kid. You're gonna put that much value on Juju, Smith-Schuster. I think he's
Receiver?
at receiver. Like,
I think it's what Patrick Mahomes could do with him. And I think maybe that change of culture, that change of like just atmosphere there, because there is a massive chemistry lag that's going on in Pittsburgh, and we saw it. And I think that separation there, Juju was outstanding, rookie and second year. He's got this ability to, I literally think it was, which is not making an excuse for him. I feel like there was a disengagement along, with other things happening there, but I think this would possibly be like a jolt to really reignite a whole lot of that love for the game again.
Fresh start.
yeah, all right. I mean, I hear that point. I mean, I guess in terms of number 2 receiver,
Yes.
I mean, as
He's
a solid, all right. So back to the Nicole Hardman and Byron Pringle. Like, you got these guys it's like who can get picked last, or like who doesn't get picked last in gym class type thing over there, right? like which, I mean, in reality, that's what it is. Like, one week it's Nicole Hardman, next week it's Byron Pringle. Like, one of these guys are popping up. Like, let's not take away from the fact that I don't want to say delegate. That's kind of, so they just Kansas City just re-signed Josh Gordon. Right, and I know that like you got this look on your face, Evan, like, oh, Josh Gordon, huh? Like, oh, like, but he came in so late that he didn't get equipped into that offense. Now, like, why they would re-sign him? Probably just to get more out of him. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna bite. I'm gonna take. I think you're right. I think.
As a true number 2, I think he could.
As a true number 2, yeah.
Re-solidify his career in Kansas City.
And I don't want to keep going far because I know we're hitting that time block here.
Him and Jackson Mahomes can do TikToks together.
But
I'm sorry. I'm
all
sorry.
But what you were saying with Pringle and Hardman, and I mean, shoot, you look back at the just streak of guys that they have wide receiver wise where they go off. I think that is mainly the system that they have with Reed and Mahomes being able to identify where they can actually, take advantage of a weakness. And I think if you plug in Juju, that's going to be more of it's going to be a massive tool. It's not going to be just like a 1 week pop off, 2 week pop off type thing.
Yeah.
You'll see some consistency and then a big pop off. But anyways, yeah. I know.
No, I mean,
keep it moving.
I like it. I like it a lot. I guess
You're
I think
a Buffalo fan, and you don't want to hear that.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think I was more caught off by CJ's comment about the rich get richer, because I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster's is that valuable at like wide receiver. Like, I don't think he's gonna make any team better. I think in this sense it does make, like, he doesn't have like star-studded talent written around him type thing. He doesn't make a team drastically better. But to your point about solidify him as a number 2, as a permanent fixture in that offense, that makes sense. Okay. I'm going to jump into my, as you say, not the pretty ones, or the meat and bones is what you called it. But I think this is an extremely, extremely valuable asset, and we saw it if you guys go back and watch Super Bowl 56 there. Terran Armstead, and this is just to add on to as many weeks as Evan has screamed it. Terran Armstead, left tackle of the New Orleans Saints. Granted, he's coming off of a knee surgery this offseason. Since he is paying him big money to come there, and you need it. You need it. I don't even think I really have to go in and justify any more than that. 7 sacks in the second half. 9 sacks against. Right, it was 9 sacks against Tennessee. Like, ACL injury already is rookie season. Like, protect your quarterback, and why not do it with one of the best left tackles in the game? Any arguments?
Wholeheartedly agree. Nope. They need to make multiple moves on that offensive line. That would be an outstanding, to strengthen that up. Be a wonderful start. I'd love to see that starting, 16th free agency next week.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. First thing done.
Now time for my favorite. I can't wait, CJ. I can't wait for you to break this down. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. Mitchell Trubisky.
So he gets drafted by Chicago, plays there for 4 seasons, which he never. Well, his first season was the only losing record season that he had, but the next season he went 11-3, which it was his best season. He threw over 3,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, but had 12 interceptions. And the following year he went 8-7, and then it keeps going downhill with 6-3, and then he signs with Buffalo. So I mean, I still think he has a legitimate chance to be a starter elsewhere. Some potential places that he could go to is Tampa Bay, Carolina with the with Sam Darnold issue right now. Pittsburgh needs a quarterback, and I put the Colts up there because the Carson Wentz trade. So I mean, they're all for potential spots, but as the rumors are going around right now, they're talking about the Giants are signing him to complete against Daniel Jones. So, but personally, I wouldn't mind seeing him in like Tampa Bay or Indianapolis. With the offense, I still think he's a good quarterback. He can issue the wins. It's just I think he needs another shot at his career, just like Juju Smith. So.
I got a quick question here, and it's to address the two of the teams that you mentioned. With Trubisky going to Carolina or New York, just a hypothetical as like a beat reporter, local news team, wherever in either one of those locations. Like, are you licking your chops just for the controversial like quarterback contest of Sam Darnold and Trubisky or Daniel Jones and Trubisky? Like, that just, to me, that sounds like, I don't even know, like when we have these reruns of movies that have already been rerun 3 or 4 times. It seems like that, where it's like, all right, well, we know what we're getting, but shoot, I guess we got a story. Let's go with it. But when you say that, it sounds like, hey, those are both locations where Trubisky has a legit chance.
Yes.
He has a very, very good chance.
So not to cut you off, but to take it a little bit further here, we talked about this during our rankings system. Carolina is this team that has a really good defense. Number 2, they have outstanding weapons on offense, right? They have some guys that you haven't even tapped into potential yet, like Terrence Marshall. Chuba Hubbard, we know, is a solid backup. He could even very well be a starter in that offense. But then you have the Giants, who are full-blown ready to let go of Saquon, hit the absolute 100% rebuild button, right? The rebuild, right? Between the two, do you take him and try to rebuild your franchise around him, or do you plug him in and hope and pray that it works? Because like we talked about, the South is wide open. NFC South is wide open this year.
Yeah, with that presentation, and thank you for being the slap across the face to kind of put into reality. New York, the Giants would be a better place because I don't see Trubisky as that build your future around, but he's a really potential. Hey, we can go with him, have a quarterback contest, see what we do have, and while we figure things out, we got a good placeholder.
And then he's got familiarity with Brian Dable, who was the Bills' offensive
Yeah.
coordinator this year. So I mean, everyone kind of knows that Trubisky took this step back this year to whatever it was, mentally better himself as a person, as an individual, as a player. Take a step back, watch the game, because he was thrown right in. He was thrown right in as a rookie. Chicago did him no justice whatsoever. They didn't help him out. If anything, they gradually got worse with him there. And I don't think credit to him. Like, I don't think it was his fault at all whatsoever. You have coaching issues. You have you're trading away draft capital for Khalil Mack. Like, it's just like, the only shining star that they had really was Allen Robinson, and Dave Montgomery comes in Montgomery comes in as Trubisky's going out, like, right? Or they had 1 year together.
They have 1 year.
Yeah, they have 1 year together. They go to the playoffs and the double doink happens, right? Everyone knows about the double doink, right? So, yeah, I mean, I say bring Trubisky into New York and let it, start building around him that way. This is kind of funny. I know we're running out of time here, but take Daniel Jones, take Mitchell Trubisky. Does Daniel Jones not become the next Mitchell Trubisky, though?
Yeah.
Right?
For at least 1 or 2 years, yeah, where people still see it as, oh, well, we could work with that. Yeah, we can build that up.
I mean, I don't think Daniel Jones was really given a fair shot in New York. New York was a cluster show.
Yeah. No, it really was. And both of them have not had any true justice done. It may be better off to bring that in and spark, whatever form of competition you can, or see who can prevail.
But then at the same time,
it may be the best story to have come out of there.
At the same time, I do love the idea of the Carolina Panthers winning the South and whoever they can win it with. I mean, I don't see anybody else suitable for them, and I don't see them drafting one. So I think Mitchell Trubisky is the top quarterback in free agency. However, I mean, I don't know. I like Marcus Mariota. I have Marcus Mariota actually coming to the Bills to back him up, or back up Josh Allen. A lot of people actually hated on me on Twitter for that, but
you don't think he becomes a starter somewhere?
Well, that's what they're saying, that he's a starter, but he starts where? Exactly.
He's not a starter. He's either a placeholder or a legit championship contender backup where they know they can plug and play the guy if something unforeseen happens.
Take Mariota's mobility, take Josh Allen's mobility, the stuff that he can do outside the pocket. I mean, you're not changing your offense much at all in that sense.
Aside from the deep ball threats that he's able to do. Yeah, everything else stays about the same.
So, CJ, you didn't even actually really say where you thought he'd go. You just threw out a bunch of names. I'm putting you on the spot. Carolina?
Yeah. I mean, I think they have the most,
if he goes to Carolina, I'm going to start throwing out some dynasty trades right now.
Me too, man. That's what I'm saying. Like,
maybe I should just start buy low right now.
I think he's on the waiver in our league, Tim.
Oh, he is. I might make one of those commission move. I might make a commission move. No, I'm just playing. Anybody watching? I'm just kidding.
You need a quarterback, right?
God, do I? I need a lot. So, But that's gonna do it for today's show, guys. I think it was a great first episode for Nothing But the Game. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at MBTG_FB. We're gonna work on that. So, but yeah, check us out on Twitter at Nothing But the Game. And thanks for tuning in.